Welcome back to the DreamHack Winter ROCCAT Legacy of the Void Championship. I'm Nathanius. With me is Sean Apollo Clark, hello, Benjamin de Muslim Baker, and Jens Snoot Asgard. How are you guys?
I'm doing fine, thank you. I'm very excited for the ZvZ we have coming up. It's the first broadcasted ZvZ, I believe, on this stream.
Ooh.
I'm not sure. Either way,
think
very hyped to cast this one.
maybe.
Okay.
Lambo versus Bly.
Do the other three of us need to be here? Would you like to just go on a rant?
No.
about
Should we
ZvZ?
just leave now?
Yeah. Would you
Alright,
like? You want to just go on a tear?
Just walk away.
Enlighten us. Talk to us about what is ZvZ in Legacy of the Void?
ZvZ has changed a little bit. There were some differing opinions on this, if it's more random or less random, but there definitely are some new build orders. The build orders and how they worked has changed a lot from Heart of the Swarm to Legacy. For example, playing one base in Heart of the Swarm was usually seen as very cheesy. You had the 9 pull, you had the 10 pull baneling all-ins, lots of coin flips going on. But in Legacy of the Void, it feels like opening off a one base almost seems like a very safe choice, and you can transition very easily out of it compared to how it was in Heart of the Swarm. And there's also lots of changes to the ways that the Roach Wars work, because you can't just mass roaches anymore because the Ravagers are...
Thank God.
It's now
finally it's changed.
No more giant massive roaches just slapping against each other.
Oh, don't worry, we'll have enough of that for sure. There's just going to be a couple of Ravagers in the mix, maybe some Lurkers.
This is the one time I'm not sad to see Ravagers.
So I've played quite a bit of Zerg vs. Zerg, and one thing I've struggled with a lot is understanding what I should open with and build order. That's like the hardest part.
It's very challenging
because
right now.
there's so many aggressive builds, and I don't know the best way to deal with it. You played like 3-4 Zerg vs. Zergs in China, and what I noticed, even on the map that has no ramp in between, you still went hatch first and still held Ayasonu's like gas pool build, the instant aggression.
You can hold it, but it takes a little bit of unfortunate control from your opponent. Sometimes it takes immaculate control on your own end to actually survive one base build sometimes.
I like that you said...
He did.
I was going to say, I like that you said
control.
unfortunate control from your opponent rather than just saying luck.
Yeah, lucky is a bit of an overused word, I suppose. But
I really like that he also said you have to have immaculate control, like Conqueror.
As I said, the game you won,
Well,
he's like, you have to
that's
have
one game.
Snoot
My
the
control is on
Conqueror.
point.
I don't think anybody's surprised.
Usually
that.
my control is not that great.
Okay.
Well, let's find out how good the control of these guys is going to be. Lambo versus Bly. The match seems to be ready, so have fun, Jens, and Ben. Do what you can.
Thank you, Nathanius. Yes. So this matchup, Lambo against Bly. Now, very differing styles in other matchups, at least.
What would you say is the difference between Lambo and Bly?
Well, when I play them in TVZ, Lambo definitely opts more for the macro later stages of the game. Definitely relies on mechanics and just overall just decent play. Like, he won't really... If there's a textbook and it's like, okay, this is how you play ZvZ or ZvT, he'll read it, he'll abide by it, he'll do it exceedingly well.
Yeah.
Bly, if you give Bly that book, throws it out of the window, looks for the cheapest way he can possibly kill you, and he'll probably do it. So that's how they differ. But getting right onto this game, spawning in the top right of Dusk Towers, as our Red Zerg, it is Lambo.
Going for the play from the book. Seems like it's going to be some sort of pool expand or a hatchery first. 64% win rate against Zerg. One of the stronger players in ZvZ in Heart of the Swarm as well. But here in the bottom, going for this one base opening that we talked about, it's Acer Bly. One of the players that plays a very unique and different style in ZvZ, likes to go for the Mutas more often than not, and sometimes even Nidus Swarms as well. So this is going to be Lambo, the standard textbook type of player, relying on great mechanics, going up against the crazy aggressive play from Bly.
Now, you asked me how I see these players differently. And in TVZ, I think it's fairly obvious. But in ZvZ, have you played them a lot?
Well, I have played them in Heart of the Swarm, and I would say that they are very different. I think Lambo would be the type of player to go for the more traditional Roach game and the more safe openings, and we can see that right here. Like, even if the expansion changed, even if this is Legacy of the Void, they still stick to their style, man.
It really does shine through, like the TY Bomber series as well. The way that they like to play the game, TY likes to approach the game as a defender, Bomber the aggressor.
You see, Bly is actually moving the Zerglings away from the Overlord path here, going a very, very far away route. And I think this is something Bly spent a lot of time thinking about, to just knowing how not to get seen by the Overlords here. So he's going to actually circumvent all of these. Lambo going for this additional Overlord. It's a little bit early, so he's going to have a lot of supply overhead and a very, very late Baneling Nest. And he doesn't see this Lynx yet. I think Lambo is going to be in trouble. He's still making drones.
So Bly with the sneaky, aggressive play. Also, that was quite smart. The timing of that Overlord just missed these Lynx sneaking around. So it's obvious that Bly has indeed thought about this build.
But here the two safety
Look
Lynx.
at this, he's even dodging again with the Lynx.
Oh, he doesn't see it. This is so bad for Lambo right now. These Lynx accomplish nothing. And it's not even, Lambo is not even making blind Zerglings. And here are the 4 Banelings. And the third Overlord from Lambo is nowhere to be seen. I don't even know where it is.
Oh, but
now
Lambo sniffed something.
The 2 Zerglings arrived and they saw the reinforcements coming along, and now the Spine is on the way, the Zerglings are on the way, but Lambo doesn't even have a Baneling Nest, and the 3rd Queen only just started. This is going to be incredibly difficult here.
And these Queens are incredibly exposed
They're
to
so
off-breed.
exposed.
So that's one surround. Yes, he picks off a Baneling, a second Baneling too, but these Banelings now walking to the mineral line unopposed here, and nice splits by Lambo.
Very nice splits here, but look at this Zergling count, and the inject was not put on the hatchery either. Lambo was waiting for the transfusions, and now he has no larva left.
Oh.
Only in the natural, it seems like.
Yeah.
Couple of Lynx in productions, but there's no Banelings, and Lambo is just going to... He's just going to die here.
He's going to get murdered here. The drone's falling to these Lings. Still Banelings on the field, and GG is called. Oh.
In just a little more than 3 minutes, Bly takes the first game versus Lambo here with very clever unit movement, knowing where the Overlords go, usually, traditionally, circumventing them.
I'm super happy that the camera's like honed in on Bly's reaction
Yeah, I know,
there
like
too.
the fist bump.
Like, some Russian probably being spouted out there. But yeah, that was
short and sweet.
I don't often see players celebrate in StarCraft. Never mind after single map wins. So,
But this tournament has been different, though.
yeah, you got players like celebrating pre-game, trying to crush
the gummy
cartons.
bears, crushing the can, fist bumps.
Yeah, even Dr. Dario did a few fist bumps as well in a previous series. I think it was against Lilbo, actually.
And Huck's victory speech.
Ah, yes.
That has to count as a celebration, right?
Lots of profanity, yes. Lots of different celebrations going on. But yeah, really nice to see that from Bly. That was obviously well calculated. I also like the fact that upon seeing the Overlord as well, even chose to buy more time. Even though it was only a matter of seconds that were bought, they were still seconds that paid dividends to his strategy.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure every single Zerg that's had to play ZvZ and face this build is wondering how does one actually deal with this, and it's just very, very difficult. It takes a lot of micro, but I'd like to point out that maybe Lambo made the 3rd Overlord when he probably shouldn't have, and the Baneling Nest could have been a lot sooner. I feel like the gas timing that he went for was also a little bit late. At some point, you definitely want to stabilize using a Baneling Nest of your own, and I think Lambo's build was just a tiny bit too greedy, and I'm not exactly going to call it a build order loss, but making such a late gas in combination with making more workers just delayed the technology way, way too much.
Okay.
And that's in the 3rd Overlord. It's like building an extra depot because you know the game is going to go longer. Building, I don't know how to make a good comparison, kind of like making an extra depot because you expect the game to go long and it's okay as long as you don't get cheesed. But then you do get cheesed, and it's like, man, that could have been a bunker, for example.
Expecting this against Bly, though?
I know. It's a bit weird.
Like, we both talked about these players' styles, and it's obvious that they pay attention to, or their styles shine through in each matchup.
For this, and it still keeps working. It's amazing.
So, going on into the second game of the series, Ace of Bly currently 1-0 up, but spawning in the bottom right as our red Zerg, it is Lambo.
Representing Invasion eSports here, partnered with Spenu. And here in the top of Prime Terraces, it's Acer Bly.
Aggressive little Ukrainian Bly sat there in his nice white Acer hoodie.
Known for his very, very unique openings and approaches to the different matchups. And now we're going to see something very unique. And I love this. It's so, so cruel. He's going for the gold base, but not in the position that you would expect. So if Lambo gets his Overlord over to Acer Bly's gold, sees that there's no gold, it's like, oh my god, this has to be some sort of crazy one-base play again.
Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. And the only thing that you scout with at this stage in the game is an Overlord. So upon scouting that, hey, there's no gold base, hey, there's no natural either with
how-
Overlord. No, I don't think the Overlord will even get that far.
Yeah, this gold base on the left-hand side is not going to get scouted. And Lambo is actually going for a safe pool expansion to the gold. This is so awkward. At first I was about to say, wow, Lambo is playing this so safely, so conservatively, going for the spawning pool and the extractor before expanding, but then he takes the gold. It's like, I can't help but feel that it's a little bit of a middle-of-the-road approach, but look at that gas timing also. Lambo started speed right away. This is definitely, it's not something he just came up with, and it's not a middle-of-the-road approach to him, I would assume. Like, this is a very calculated opening from him.
Yeah, usually middle-of-the-road builds kind of fall short against extreme builds, be it extreme aggression or extreme macro. So the fact that he's opting for this against a player that usually vows to play very, very aggressive, it's kind of weird.
And look at this, Bly is also making these 4 safety Zerglings. I'm not sure why exactly, but they're not going to have speed, at least not before Lambo Zerglings. So both these players, despite taking these greedy gold bases, are also making a lot of Zerglings just to stay safe, just to scout. And I think Lambo, honestly, I think he made those Zerglings and the additional 4 Zerglings that he's making now as well, because he doesn't know what we know. He doesn't know that Bly has a gold base on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
So Bly's build is working wonders here. Already a couple of drones ahead, but now Lambo finds the base, and this is the power of Zerglings. Bly will not be able to mine from here. He might even lose the queen. That's going to be a disaster.
Loses a drone, loses the queen.
Oh,
yes,
Lambo.
he gets an inject off, but this is a real... And he's going to lose another drone by the looks of it too. In fact, no, it does get away.
And Lambo is making even more Zerglings, so he's going to shut down this base super hard. And this time around, Bly's the one who didn't put down the baiting nest.
Oh,
he doesn't have a baiting nest.
Zergling speed as well. He is going to get this drone and get out of there. So even though these Zerglings have all taken damage now, they can morph into Banelings. Oh, and he even picks off quite a few low health or segregated Zerglings of his own.
If you want to win your games in ZvZ, especially when map layouts like this are involved, you don't really want to be playing without the Bailing Nest. Bly is going for the Roach Warren, aiming for a big Roach attack, but wow, 4 sneaky Banelings as well. Lambo really looking to blow up the entire mineral line here, and he has more than enough Lings and Banelings here on the left-hand side to contest this Ling army in a little bit.
I mean, this is really nice positioning by Bly, using the queen as well to fight here, but those Banelings, they're now running into
Here
the
we go, here we go.
Oh,
Bly
Bly.
with the splits, very nice splits
Wow.
though, and a little bit of mismanagement there from Lambo. But is
Quite
it
a
going to
bit.
matter though?
I mean, that was definitely mishandled.
Wow,
I mean, 4 Banelings.
Can't believe how well Bly is hanging on here. I feel like if those 4 Banelings were part of the main army attacking the gold right now,
GG.
there's no chance that these Zerglings here would have been able to fight that. So Lambo, he had the great build, he had the great transition, but he didn't use the Banelings correctly, I feel. He didn't put the Banelings where they should have been.
I mean, even if he did use them correctly in the main base, it would have been a better situation. Like, 2 of them seemed to blow up on the hatchery there.
Yeah,
Like,
he could have gone for just one of the places, but instead chose to attack both places at once, and I think that was a mistake. But now he's actually out to run all of these roaches, and the Banelings are actually going into the mineral line, but nice mineral walk here by Bly. Still a big stack though, but 1 Baneling falls. That means, wow, so many red drones though. Can Lambo actually pick some of these off?
oh my lord, is Bly managed to keep most of them alive. Really great drone transfers here. So keeping all those drones alive, and that is a good 8 red drones there. If all of those died, Bly would have certainly been out of the game.
This is a crazy, crazy game so far. Bly not really having any drones on this gold, and I'm not sure if Lambo does. Like, it's so difficult to know right now who's actually mining more in this game.
So the single Ravager.
Just 3 drones here on the gold, and Lambo seems to have a small mineral lead, but Acer Bly, he went for the Roach Warren, so he has a little bit of a technology advantage, but will Lambo overpower the Roaches with Zerglings and Banelings alone?
It's so incredibly close. At this point in time, Bly adding on the Ravager rather than adding on more Roaches. Why do you see that? Just because he had a gas surplus?
Oh, and Lambo is actually, he's getting attacked at the front, but also counterattacking in the main of Acer Bly. Losing so many links here at the front though to the Roaches and Ravagers. This counterattack is picking off a big chunk of Acer Bly's economy, but will Lambo be able to defend? He has twice the worker count right now.
Oh, I think... Oh, this is getting
look at
really
this
tight.
surround,
A nice around. The Banelings, are they going to get good connects to? Pretty... Oh, they're still wobbling around. And
It doesn't matter,
going to
Lambo
fall.
has too much and the counterattack succeeded. Bly down to
GG.
0 workers, has to tap out. Nice
Really?
comeback there from Lambo.
Yeah, it was nice. Like the build order of Bly, he tried to get up that gold base, but it got scouted out by Lambo's Lings, and almost forcing Lambo to be curious about his 1 base build just made Lambo build even more Lings, which ended up scouting the base that he wanted to hide for so long. So
Yeah,
almost by tricking Lambo.
He also kind of tricked himself. Like
Yeah, he tricked Lambo into making the right call.
Yeah, he showed Lambo that there was nothing. Lambo was forced into making a lot of Zerglings, but then Bly didn't have the Zerglings or the Banelings to defend against those Zerglings. And I feel like Lambo definitely could have won this game a lot sooner if he didn't try to attack both bases simultaneously. He could have easily just taken all the Banelings, but then again, I think Lambo maybe did not expect Bly not to have a Baneling nest. It's very unusual not to play with a Baneling nest.
And one thing that I have to commend Lambo on, or rather Bly on, the fact that he's mixing up his builds a lot.
Yeah.
Like going into this series, when you have a series as long as a best of 5, Bly has already shown that, hey, I'm unpredictable. And Lambo, so far, he's not done anything out of the realm of ordinary, you know, whereas Bly, every game so far, it's been a one-base all-in, circumvented the Overlords on the way to his base very, very cleverly. Even this map, there was definitely some serious thought behind what he was doing. So I'm looking forward to see what he does in the rest of this series.
And the next map now is going to be Orbital Shipyard. It's chosen by Lambo. It's probably more of the a bit more of a straightforward map, I would say. It's a 2-player map. You don't have that 4-player map randomness, and there's no gold bases. Much like Dusk Towers, it has this in-base expansion. So
Preferred build of Snoot on this map?
I believe Hatch First is actually quite strong on this map,
Okay.
assuming that you don't lose to the one-base all-in that Bly won with in the first game. It's still such a powerful build, I have to say, because you can run straight into the main as well. And there's still, even if the in-base expansion is in-base, there's still a little bit of creep. There's still a little bit of a place where there's no creep, so it's a
Queens
little
are
tricky.
vulnerable.
It's a little vulnerable. It's a little bit tricky to defend with queens. It's a very open space right in front of the ramp leading out to the rest of the map, where there's also no creep. So on a lot of traditional maps where you could place 2 queens on the very top of the ramp,
Yeah.
you can't really do that here on this map. It's a little bit like Dusk Towers in that regard. You saw that Lambo, he had the 2 queens on the top, but they were separated.
he was
they were
trying
not,
to
they were
get
not
there.
blocking. They didn't make it there on time. Like, that's how early this build hits. Will Bly do it again? It seems like it, but here in the top, maybe he's going to have to defend again. It's Lambo.
Good old Lambo took a nice, neat win in game 2. And spawning over in the bottom left, resorting back to old tricks. It is Asa Bly.
Going for that one-base opening, which is so much more powerful in Legacy of the Void compared to Heart of the Swarm and compared to Wings of Liberty. This was a build style that we saw a lot in 2 versus 2 games, and we also saw it a lot on back when Tal'Darim Altar was in the map pool for those old-school players. Good old 4-gate map, good old one-base Zergling Baneling versus Zergling Baneling map.
Snoot playing 2v2 on the ladder, eh?
Yeah. Good
Wow,
old
those
days.
poor bronze souls that run into Liquid Snoot on the ladder. Can't even imagine. So these builds, you've got the safe, or not even safe, you've got the hatchery in the back of the base. You have a spawning pool going up, the gas. Who do you favor in this situation?
It's very difficult, because if Lambo manages to defend perfectly, then he should end up ahead. But it takes incredible control, great Baneling sniping, splits, and more.
I'd just like to add, like,
And he's
Asa
making
Bly.
the Overlord again. He's making the 3rd Overlord, and this means that he's going to have this supply overhead, which he will not be able to use, and he's going to have an additional larva that's not going to be a Zergling, and he makes another drone.
Right, but Bly,
It's just a speeding expand.
yes, there was no gas mining going on all this time.
And this is the scary part for Lambo.
he
Bly
won't
in the
know
first
what the
game.
hell is happening.
He doesn't know. Like, Bly showed in the first game, he showed the Speedling Baneling variation, and in Lambo's shoes, you can't know what exactly is coming your way. And once again, Bly is hiding these Zerglings, so it's impossible for Lambo to know how to react.
It's smart to play a series like this, it really is. Even though
It really is.
you don't necessarily play your strongest style, you might mixing it up is way scary because you force your opponent into playing honest and not taking shortcuts that he knows he can take. And
Lambo is playing so greedy, going for the Roach Warren, and now he sees the Zerglings, and he has to be thinking, oh no, the Queen's not in position, just drones to defend against so many Speedlings. And it doesn't matter if Bly doesn't have Banelings, like, this is still such a strong attack.
Man, focusing down both of the queens here. He's not rebuilding the queens just yet. One of the queens is in production now.
He can't, because he spent so much money on the Overlord and spent resources on the Roach Warren. That could have been a queen, but it's a Roach Warren, and even if it completes, roaches, you can't make roaches if you don't have any minerals, if you don't have any drones, you can't stay in this game. And it seems like Bly, this is not even all in. He's taking a hatchery, perfectly solid and reasonable opening here from AC Bly in Legacy of the Void. This is not an all in, but if Lambo doesn't use a proper build, then it looks like it's an all-in. It feels like that. It's that strong.
I'm almost okay.
Goes up 2-1.
Okay, there. I was sad that we didn't get the immediate zoom. Oh, there.
Yeah, no, right. Still hyped. Still hyped.
Still calm. Cold hands. You know, trying to warm those bad boys up. People tend to think that players, when they play games, their hands get hot because they're like constantly moving their fingers and stuff.
No.
They get ridiculously cold.
If you're very nervous, you can really feel it.
Yes.
The hands get so cold, and it's nothing like sitting at home where, let's say, if you're playing an online tournament and you get nervous, you can have a cup of tea. You can maybe, I don't know, you can turn off the heat in your room.
What else do you do, Snoot?
You can just. It's a very different environment here. It's
also
it's a little
very
bit
cold here.
Yeah, it's quite cold. So especially in the high pressure situations like this, if you're going to defend against banelings, having those micro skills on point is extra important when you have these cold fingers.
Now Bly, after winning that game, and both games he won, by the way, have been ridiculously smooth.
Ridiculously aggressive.
Yeah.
And pretty convincing.
Yeah. So going into the fourth game of the series, what map do we have?
Arena, the smallest map in the map pool.
Now, if there's a map that I wouldn't want to play Bly on, I'd imagine this might be one of them, or a 4-player map, given that I'd probably not scout him first and get super unlucky.
Yeah, but at least on the 4-player map, you can kind of predict that it's likely for Bly to open up with the 1 base. But on the 2-player map, Arena in particular, much like Scrap Station, the bases are so close next to each other, so the Overlords will arrive very early on in the game, and you will be able to see what the other player is doing. So maybe Lambo is thinking, all right, if Bly is doing something special here, I will be able to see it, and then if I see it, then I should be able to defend it, right? But that's not always how it works.
You're totally right. Now, given that Bly is so aggressive, almost shamelessly so, and can play a macro style as well, that we saw him kind of trying to elude Lambo, like by going for the outer gold base that you don't normally take, like the natural 4th, I guess.
Yeah.
What's a build that you would resort to using against Bly? Because so far he's been capable of anything. And
we'll see. This is shaping up very similarly. But here in the bottom of Arena, it is Lambo. Has to win 2 more maps now if he wants to keep his tournament dreams alive here at DreamHack. And in the top, going for the same type of play, despite being scouted very shortly, it's AC Bly. Looking very calm, but we know he just wants to raise his fists and pump them in the air after his victory.
And yes, so far the exact same build that he's been doing, even with the extractor trick here.
Just a minor variation, but it's still the same concept. The 1-base speedling could be also banelings, but a 1-base build nonetheless.
Lambo also opting for a 1-base opening here. Much later speed though, and much later pool. Does look like he will opt for a hatchery with this pretty early on.
I would believe so. You gain a little bit of minerals by delaying your gas, by delaying your spawning pool. The drones stay alive a little bit longer, and you know, the sacrifice to build this building. So Lambo is going to have a little bit extra minerals to work with.
Continuous gas mining too, with 3 drones, not just 2.
Yeah, so this is going to be speedling, baneling pressure. And on a map like Arena, where the rush distance is so short, I like this a lot, because even if Lambo goes for pool first, it's still going to be very difficult to hold this natural base. And I think upon scouting that this is in fact a 1-base build from Bly, and Lambo is actually in danger of losing this Overlord. If he's not careful, this Overlord might get sniped by the very quick pull from Bly.
He got to scout everything though. He got to see that the drones are still on gas. He got to see the speed.
And I think this is a tiny bit greedy from Lambo, not going for the baneling nest straight away. He had the resources, he had the gas, he could very easily start a baneling nest to actually try to catch up to Bly's baneling nest timing. If you're up 1 base, you don't need your Zerglings to be the quickest. You have the Queen, and if you have the Queen and the baneling, then you can fight off Speedlings easy peasy, even if you don't have your own Speedlings. So I think Lambo wants to forfeit this base, maybe cancel it, and try to somehow survive against the Bailing aggression, but this base is forfeit for sure, and I'm very concerned for Lambo at this stage.
He doesn't even have a Bailing. Oh, now his Bailing nest started, but this is ridiculously late. His speed's going to finish later. He actually has the hatchery up, and now he just lost a lot of Zerglings, and Bly.
Lambo is using the very standardized timings that you would use against Hatch First, but this is not Hatch First. This is one base build from Bly. A very smart choice for the tournaments. It's a high-pressure situation. It's way easier to play one base.
That's a lot of Bailing damage being done. And the Queen trying to snipe the Bailings, but the Bailings running into the drones. Just a few drones falling. In fact, lots of drones.
So many
low.
red drones, and they get picked off by these Zerglings. 5 drones going down. Not too bad. It could be far worse for Lambo.
But more Lynx join the fray.
This base is not going to survive, and even if Lambo holds here, he's losing mining time, loses even more drones. 7 workers, and Lambo is behind in the drone count. And sure, the worker difference is only 5, but Lambo is losing his only advantages in this game. He's about to lose his natural.
Oh, nice sniping by Lambo on the Bailings, though. Even nice splitting up his Zerglings, so microing his little hard out.
He's just rubbing it in right now. He didn't have to go for that mineral line, but he chose to do it anyway. And once he actually eliminates this Queen, and then he can take down the hatchery, Bly can target anything right now because he's so far ahead and his opening just works.
GG and Bly. Massive relief.
Super happy there that the one base build worked out. Not the correct build orders to bring to the tournament from Lambo against a player like Bly. You want to play far more conservatively, and especially when you scout the early speed, you don't go for speed yourself because the other player took his gas far earlier. You have to get that Bailing nest ASAP in order to hold on to that base.
Well, thank you, Snoot. Like, I learned a lot of ZvZ just from you talking about it. But yeah,
I have to say, though, I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't get to see that many Roaches or Ravagers.
Well, those games were insanely fast.
This is a very typical lesson for all the ZvZ players out there. At some point, you have to experience these types of situations. So, I mean, it's a reasonable display of some strong openings and some strong ways to play, and you can definitely, if you use these builds at home, you can definitely eliminate a lot of players that try to take one more base.
Well, hello boys, welcome back to the panel. Quite a fast ZvZ series.
Very fast, actually.
Like 20 minutes and
it
was 4 games.
I just went for a short walk. I was like, oh man, the DreamHack venue is so awesome. Come back, it's like, wait, it's over. It's over.
I think that was a really impressive victory for Bly, and I think we saw a lot of emotion from him. I was looking at while the game was going on. The last time Bly got a top 8 or above was DreamHack Bucharest 2012.
Right.
That's like a massive result. He's had a lot of round of 32s, a spike at 16 here and there, but no high results in a long time. And obviously, it's a great moment for him to have to break that barrier once again.
Yeah, Bly, one of the hardest working players out there, plays a lot of online tournaments, but like you said, haven't really had that great offline performance. So you can tell that it means a lot to him.
Also, the next round is a player that he's already beaten in Showtime. So him looking at this matchup, this was probably one that he feared a little bit. Lambo's a pretty damn hard Zerg to beat, like one of the better Zergs in Europe right now. And the fact that he did it, and now he's against a player that he already beat in the tournament, already at one of his highest finishes in a tournament, that's looking pretty darn healthy for him.
I mean, even though Bly has not had a lot of success, I think to join that is that he's put in hundreds and hundreds of hours in Legacy already. Like from the very early days in the beta, he's thrown so much work into it, and then in the game release, he's worked harder than a lot of other people. So when you get paid off, it's a great feeling.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the hardest working guys out there, to say the least. And this bracket shaping up, pretty interesting setup that we have here. Puck will be facing off against TY, Showtime against Bly, and then those guys in there, the following round will play against the first losers of the winners bracket.
So only 8 players remain. We'll be down to 6 by the end of the evening. With 4 matches left to go, we'll complete loser lower bracket round 2, and then we'll be jumping up to the winner bracket to do the top games.
Any favorite match of the next half of games that we have going on here tonight?
I gotta admit, I'm looking forward to Puck and TY.
All right. I agree. I would say is same for myself.
I mean, the only Terran for us to watch, right?
I want Puck to win.
Of course. You're American.
Yeah.
Well, I think all the games are good, actually. I don't think there's a bad matchup, really.
And Solar parting later as well.
It's such a chore to watch parting and Solar play, guys. Come on. Who wants to watch
I'm
that?
actually super interested to see Showtime Bly, especially after we cast
Yeah.
Showtime together and looked how good he was, and knowing how Bly's very aggressive and how he's going to approach it.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool to see how he does it.
Should be awesome. It's time to hear from the winner of our last series. We've got Smix over with Bly. What's up?
That's absolutely correct, Nathanius. Congratulations, Bly. Immediately after that win, the camera went over to you and you just sunk down in your chair. You had relief written all over your face. Was that because you were nervous headed into this match, or did you feel a lot of pressure?
Because I felt like ZvZ right now is kind of random, because it's rock, paper, scissors always. So I was dictating the rock always, and he was trying to beat it with scissors. So it didn't work quite well, but I think it's all because like so much pressure on it. It's first DreamHack, first big premier tournament. For the next 6 months, Europeans might have a chance to shine, so I'm trying my best, and I'm really happy about my performance.
And speaking of which, you were just playing against Lambo, and you have a very, very strong record against him. I think you had just said that it was 15-1 or something crazy like that. That being said, because of that, I feel like, you know, it should help with the nerves a little bit. It should help with the pressure. Maybe it should make you more confident with that.
Yeah, of course it made me more comfortable to play against like his style and other stuff, but overall still it's ZvZ, it's again random, and Lambo is a very good and talented player, and he's in really good shape right now, so I was afraid of him like really hard.
Now, the entire series was super, super fast. I think with all the games in total, it was around 15 minutes or so. It seemed like you were, as you just mentioned earlier, dictating the pace for all those games, and you were super, super aggressive. Was this because you were against Lambo and you knew that you had that sort of mental edge perhaps over him, or is that just how you prefer to play ZvZ?
Actually, I just did a coin flip before match, so like all in or not, and it was all in, so I just all in.
Wait, so coin flip, do you just choose to do this or the most?
Yeah.
Really, you do this?
Yeah.
With all matchups? Or just
If like I have 50-50% in both, like all in or not, I just do it.
Okay, fair enough. At least that makes it pretty simple with that decision. You just literally flip a coin.
That's more about destiny, so it shows, yeah, then you have to.
Okay, so if you win, the stars align, you know, the fate told you to do the all-in. Okay. So next up, you're going to be playing Showtime, and you actually beat him yesterday 2-1. So in terms of that, does that give you some more confidence headed into that, or do you still respect him a lot as a player?
He's a really good player, but since I beat him 2-1 yesterday, I know my mistakes, I know what I did bad, so I will play even better this time. And I think I should win like 3-1. I feel like my ZVP is really good right now, so I'm kind of confident.
Okay, is ZVP really good, or is your ZVP really good, or do you think it's Zerg that's really good right now?
Actually, it's not Zerg. It's just my ZVP. I feel like if Protoss know how to push in the right moments with the right timings, it's really hard for Zerg. So overall, like this meta is not discovered fully yet. So Protoss who whine about Zergism, blah 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 blah, it's gonna change in like one month or maybe 2 maximum. So it's just my ZVP.
All right, fair enough. Thank you very much, Bly, for this interview, and best of luck. Of course, guys, we are going to be headed into a bit of a longer break this time because we are ahead of schedule because of that 15-minute series. God damn it, Bly. So stay tuned. After the break, we will be back with Puck versus TY, which is bound to be an exciting series.